What's up, guys? I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to get this engine back in my truck. Now that I've got this Crown Vic swap completed on my 68 F100, I got the whole Crown Vic cross member in, I got that 2015 and newer Mustang electric power steering installed, I've got the sway bar hooked up, I got the steering all set up here. I even went and repainted the firewall, and guys, I didn't film anything on that firewall. I'm not a painter, I'm not a body guy. I primed it, then painted it with the blue, the Ford E paint code, I believe is what the color is. Put some satin clear or whatever on it just to clean it up, but I didn't cover it because I don't want to give you guys bad info on how to do that stuff, and this is probably not done correctly. And then I just got some undercoating on the bottom of the cab there just to clean it up, kind of like what I was doing with the rest of the frame, just clean it up, getting some of that rust encapsulator stuff on there just to protect it. But anyways, now that this is done and ready to go, I'm ready to put the engine back in. I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to put the clutch back on, got to get the pressure plate on there, get the bell housing put on there, get the starter put in, get all that put in the truck. Got to put the transmission back on, hook it back up. I got to put the front end of the truck back on here. I got a lot of work to do to get this completed so I can get this truck moving again now that we've got this whole Crown Vic setup done. So let's get right in there and get to work. And the first thing I'm going to do is put on these engine mounts, and these are from Outcast Auto Works. A lot of people are familiar with that, with these Crown Vic swaps. They make all kinds of engine mounts for, this is an FE block, they make them for the Ford small block, the 4.6, the modular, the new stuff, the Coyote, everything. They make all of the different style of mounts to mount to the Crown Vic crossmember, which is fantastic. And they set the height and everything, and there's a little bit of adjustment here, so if you need to move your engine forward or back, up or down or whatever, they can do that. But this is a pretty slick setup. Now, they come in raw steel. I went ahead and got this powder coated black, just so it's protected. But we're just gonna take the two bolts out of the engine mount here and then just use those same bolts to put this back on there. And then there's a rubber pad that goes in between here and the crossmember, but I'll do that when I go to put the engine in the truck. So we'll just do the same thing on both sides. Now, I don't know where this needs to go, this way or that way, so we'll just go ahead and tighten it up, and then when we get the engine put in, we can come back and loosen these up and change these if we need to. So there is a cutout on this one here. There's kind of a little wedge there, and that actually matches the shape on the crossmember here. So there is a right and left of these mounts, so just make sure you get that right. And then another cool thing about these mounts is that they allow you to utilize the stock oil pan with these FE blocks. So for these FE mounts, it's a front sump engine. The FE is a front sump. So the height of these are such that it allows you to utilize the front sump. You don't have to get a new oil pan and change all that kind of stuff, a new oil pickup and everything. So that's another reason why I like these engine mounts. And since there's no rubber pad in between the mount and the block, the rubber pad's actually on the bottom, and they're actually, again, shaped to fit the crossmember here. So again, there's a right and left. So again, pretty slick setup what Outcast does with their mounts, and another reason why I like these things. Here's one of those times where, it might be a good idea to upgrade some stuff or change some things on the block, but I'm not gonna keep this engine in this build for very long, so I'm not taking things apart, I'm not refreshing anything. Now's a good time to do it, but I'm not gonna keep this engine in here, so there's no point in wasting time and money doing that. This is gonna take a little bit of work. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put these Outcast AutoWorks rubber pads down. And again, remember this one's got that wedge cut out of it, so it's directional. And what's cool too is the words Outcast are, you know, if you had it upside down, it wouldn't fit, it wouldn't work on the thing. So that's cool they do that, just little things like that. Put that on there. Now we can go ahead and back this guy in here and drive her in. All right guys, I was struggling to get that bolt to drop down inside the hole there, and what I ended up doing is repositioning the hook on the last one there and shimming it around a little bit, and I got it lined up and got it dropped in. I don't know if it's easier to put these mounts on the K-member and then drop the engine on top of the mounts. I don't know if that's an easier way to go. But I was able to get it in there, and I also, bonehead move, I didn't think about it. I had this thing tightened down, the pivot, the Z-bar thing, whatever, for the clutch. I had that all in place, and so I had it put on the pivot point here on the block, but it was binding up and holding up. So I just took this off so that the engine can free up a little bit, and then just put this on afterwards and make sure everything's all plugged in the right spot. So anyways, I should have thought about that before I got going, but cool. So now the engine is in place. Whew. I think what we can do is get that off of there, back this up. So now the next move probably will be to put the front of the truck back on here and get all that connected, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the truck on the lift and put the transmission back in. That pig is pretty heavy. And while I did have that transmission little jack thing before, that's great for taking it out because it just kind of falls out, but I got to line up the input shaft to make sure that's all good. And so I think what I'm gonna do is I've got one of those transmission stands or transmission jack things, the tall ones. So I'm gonna use that. So let's get the front input on so we can lift the truck and put the transmission in. Real quick, I wanted to say, so putting an engine in the truck or in the car or whatever, particularly this style, is not, it's intimidating at first, but it's actually not that complicated. And I'm such a nerd and I love spreadsheets. This is what I made two-sided here to put the engine actually in my fastback. Actually, it wasn't this fastback, it was a different Mustang that I had, a red one that I had quite a while ago. And I put this whole list together. I'm such a nerd. So I've got the size of the bolt, the type of fitting, whether it's a bolt or a screw, how many there are, what tool I needed, where it was on the vehicle. I'm a nerd, but doing this for the first time, you don't want to miss anything. And there's a lot of steps on here, but for doing this, I didn't make a single note. I did, because I am a nerd, I did put things like a little baggie. This says trans to bill housing. So to bolt that back up, I did label these little baggies of what screws are so I don't lose them, but not a big deal. Some of you guys like, oh, this is old news. Everybody can do this, and it's not as overwhelming as it used to be. And throwing this thing back in, I'm not even sweating it like I did on my first engine pull. I took the 289 out of that Mustang that I had, that red one, and put a 302 in there, and just a standard swap kind of a thing, nothing big, but anyways, just a behind the scenes kind of info, right? This used to overwhelm me, and I used to really stress out about this, and now I'm just throwing it back in there. So anyways, cool. All right, back to it. So now that we got the front of the truck put on here, I can start going ahead and connecting things like the radiator hoses and all the electrical stuff. Remember, for those that saw that video where I took everything apart, I did a plug system that allows me to basically kind of make it idiot-proof. So the way that these things are designed, a different number of plugs and they're different positions, so they only reach to one spot. So I think I can put it So put this guy in here, and then this one goes this way, and this one goes this way. Goes here, goes here. I need to put this loom back over it. Oh, this one goes here. There we go. I need to put something over this. I need to get some sort of thicker loom or something to kind of wrap all the wires up and keep it clean, because it does look kind of cluttered with all these wires sticking out over here. But so stuff like this, stuff that's not particularly glamorous to do or exciting. I need to finish hooking up the radiator hoses for the heater on the truck, the throttle linkage. I've got to do the wiring. I just got to plug in like the temperature sensor and for the fans and everything, and hook the alternator up, put the battery back in, just stuff like that. I got to get all this stuff put together. Here, this is for the starter. Got to hook that up. And then I need to hook up the power lines for the new power steering, the electric power steering that I have. All I need to do is I need to do a ground, which is easy. I can just go over to the frame. I need to run a wire up here straight to the battery. Actually, I have a breaker first, and then to the battery, and then I need a wire that has a switch source to activate that. That's all I have to do to hook that up. So I can get that done, finish hooking this stuff up, and I think this will be good. Now that I got the electric power steering all wired up, got the wire running along down here and coming up, and we need to have it on a breaker here, so I've just got to, I'll just leave it open for now since we're not using it, but they're supposed to have like a 120 amp breaker for this power steering setup. So this is from a previous project, so that works out pretty good. I can just put that there, and everything else is all connected over there. Everything's installed as far as I can tell. Everything's connected, bolted in, tightened up. I think this is a good place to transition from here to getting the truck lifted so that we can get the transmission put in. I got one of these transmission jacks we got to use, so I got to get that guy loaded up on here. Hopefully we can get that up inside the truck here and get it installed. Now this is the first time having the truck up on the lift, so it's kind of fun to see it from this angle. I don't ever get to see this kind of stuff. Oh, I got to put that cover plate back on there. The one thing and this is something you guys that run lifts all the time, I want to think about like welding on some eyelets or something like that so I can connect a chain or something just for a little more security. Some people were saying get some of those stands like you can put like from the ground up to the axle just so that, you know, if it doesn't want to tip. That kind of stuff makes me nervous, and looking at this is probably, it's probably fine, but stuff like that, I'm overthinking it probably. This one's good, that one's lined up pretty good, but cool. All right, well, now let's get this transmission put in here. Alrighty, now we got the hard part in. This it's one of those things where if you could have an extra set of hands, it really does make a big difference. You know, trying to have that engine tilted back enough, but having the transmission tilted the right angle. Of course, this plate being tilted because the bottom of this thing is slanted, and all kinds of that stuff compounds into just trying to get it to fit. But anyways, if you have an extra set of hands, it does make it a lot easier to get that in there. We're bolted in, so now I just need to wrap up a couple things underneath here, finish hooking up the drive line. I got to get this inspection cover thing back installed on there, and then I got to go up top and put that shifter in and then the cover on, and then I think we could put the wheels and tires on and drop the truck. And the last thing I needed to do was put that shifter in and screw that boot down, so we're good to go there. And oh, I guess I got to put the horn button on, but I can do that later, no big deal. So let's look at this thing. Holy rake, Batman. You're not going to be able to tell in the camera because it's distorted. It's kind of a wide angle lens, but there is so much rake to this thing. Gosh, and if you can even go down the, yeah, you can't you can't tell because there's the lens distortion, but this is so much lower. I mean, this is like where my belt is on my pants. I mean, that's how, I mean, normally it was like what, up to here or something like that. So that is awesome. That now I definitely got to do the rear. I definitely got to get that taken care of because there is so much gap up there versus the front. Now these are not the final wheels. These are just wheels that will work with that Crown Vic front end. I have a lot to figure out what I'm going to do with the wheels because I got to lower the rear still, and I got to look at sizes and things. There's just a lot to do. So for now, this just gets me down the road and get some rubber on this truck so that we can at least drive it. But yeah, I guess I got to put the hood on too, but nobody cares about that. I just wanted to get this part done. Cool. Let's see if we can see the other side. You can't really tell. Okay, cool. So guys, this is a good place to end this video. I forgot the front bumper too. So I do have a couple more things that I do need to do to finish wrapping this up. But the engine's in, transmission's in, wheels are on, it's on the ground. This is awesome. This is awesome. I got so much work to do, but this was a big one to get this thing put back together, and that's what I wanted to do with this video, is just get everything getting on here so I can turn the key and fire it up. So, all right guys, that takes care of that. We'll see you in the next one.